As many of us find ourselves at home away from our usual personal care services, such as eyebrow maintenance, I thought I would share with you today a few easy, simple things that you can do at home to help take care of yourself and specifically your eyebrows. Eyebrows are one of those things we all know what a big, huge difference eyebrows make to our appearance and how quickly they can get out of control. For some of us, this is a bit of a bigger issue than others. Some of us have kind of a lot more eyebrow hair, and some of us wish we had more eyebrow hair. I've always been a bit of a do-it-yourself eyebrow maintenance person. I think being a makeup artist, I'm really comfortable with eyebrows, and so I've always taken care of my own eyebrows, and so I've got lots of good tips and tricks for you that I thought I would share just to help give you some confidence to be able to take care of your brows at home if this isn't something that you normally do, or maybe for those of you that are in the habit of taking care of your eyebrows already at home, just a few new tips and tricks and things to think about. So eyebrows. I don't have any product in my eyebrows right now. I'm not blessed with overly big, bushy, crazy eyebrows. So I might not be able to demonstrate a radical transformation here for you. But that doesn't mean that I still don't have a pretty regular habit of kind of maintaining my eyebrows. So what does that look like? First things first, you want some kind of brush. So ideally you would have something that looks kind of like this. They kind of look like an old mascara wand. I call them a spoolie or a brow tamer. If you don't have something like this in your house, no sweat. You can either use an old mascara wand, if you have one lying around, an old tube mascara you're not using anymore, just wash all the mascara out of it. That'll work great. A toothbrush can also work really well. You want something kind of stiff that'll really get into the hairs. And so all you're gonna do here is just give your brow hairs a little comb. These front hairs, you don't need to be perfect about the direction that you're going. Just kind of brush everything in the basic direction that you want the hairs to be lying. Why are we doing this? It helps to see the shape of our eyebrows. It also helps to kind of exfoliate them a little bit. Sometimes we get a little bit of dry skin in the eyebrows. Just even combing the eyebrows daily is a quick, simple habit that I certainly have in my daily routine. So next things next here, if you've got quite long eyebrow hairs, some of us get hairs that really grow either with age, they've gotten a little bit longer, the odd hair that we don't really want to be long, or some of us just have eyebrows that really, they kind of grow too much. What you can do that's really simple at home, so again, you would take your comb, your spoolie, comb those hairs up, get a good, nice, sharp pair of nail scissors. I really am a big fan of the brand Tweezerman. They are the gold standard of tweezers, and I think they make a really great little pair of nail scissors. Again, you can probably just order these online if it's something you don't happen to have lying around the house. I'm sure Amazon or your local kind of online delivery service could arrange those for you. Or of course, if you're able to, hop out to your local pharmacy and pick yourself up a pair. Okay, so all you would do, and again, I don't really have the long hairs to demonstrate for this, but you'll get the idea. When you comb them up, you'll see that there will be the odd little hair that's poking up higher. Those are the ones that you would want to trim. So you would just hold that comb, and I'm doing this kind of with my left hand, so it's a bit awkward. You would just hold that comb up to the brush, and then you would just take those scissors and carefully snip along the top. Don't go too short though, right? We don't want to get right into the eyebrow. These are just those sort of rogue hairs that are peeking up a little bit longer than you want to. Same thing over here, but most of us find that these hairs lie down flat, so I would be extra cautious about trimming any of those hairs over there. Okay, so that's dealing with the super rogue, unruly ones. Next thing, a lot of us are in the habit of waxing our eyebrows. I wax my eyebrows at home. I do it myself, and so I thought I would show you how I do that. I don't do eyebrow waxing so much to shape my eyebrow, I use it more to get rid of all the little fine baby hairs. You know, we all have those little fine downy hairs that we get, well, everywhere over all of our skin, but particularly the ones around the eyebrow area. And so all I do is I get a box of wax strips. So it's paper that has ready to use hair removal wax strips. And I just buy them in the big full sheets like this. And then I just take a big pair of kitchen scissors and I just cut them down into these little strips. So they're not huge. That would measure probably about 1 centimeter wide. And then I do this probably, I would say, I don't know, maybe like once every 3 weeks or so. Just when I kind of feel like, oh, this is starting to look kind of fuzzy down here, I will get out one of my wax strips. I'm not going to actually do it right now on camera because it's something that I would, that would be a little bit of a risk for me doing this on camera. Is something I would do in front of a well-lit bathroom mirror where you can really see what you're doing. But I want to show you how you do this. So you would take your strips, put it in your hands, and just rub it. And what you're doing is you're just warming up the wax so that the paper pulls apart easily. And then these little strips just pull apart. Okay, so you pull them apart. And now you've got 2 little wax strips. And you've already got your eyebrow hairs all combed up because you did that. And then all you would do is you would lay this down under the eyebrow. Don't get too close to your actual eyebrow unless you're super confident in what you're doing, because where that wax strip lands, the hairs are going to be removed when you pull it away. So I always leave a little bit of a margin, maybe, I don't know, a 2 or 3 millimeter margin around my eyebrow there. Lay it down, smooth down the wax strip. So you push it down, and I usually extend it kind of just past the tail of my eyebrow there a little bit. And then all you do is you pull the skin sort of tight. And then pulling, so if you're going from your left eyebrow, you would start from the bottom, and then you want to try to keep the strip as close to the skin as you can, and you just whip it up. It stings for 1 second. It's very minor, I barely feel it, and then it just leaves all that skin nice and smooth and hair free. Some of us like to have, well, not like to have, we've got extra hairs in here that we want to be tweezing. Tread carefully here. You know, speaking personally, I'm not a fan of overly perfectly looking groomed eyebrows, but this is where everyone has their own aesthetic preference. So I actually like the look of a little bit of a bushy natural brow here in the middle, but there's limits to it. You know, certainly if you've got hairs that are coming through right kind of in the center, each to their own. You may choose to leave them, but most of us would choose to get rid of those. So same thing, you could take that same strip, there'll be part of it that wasn't really used, lay it down, smooth it in the direction that the hairs are growing. So that's probably kind of an upwards direction, and then hold that skin tight, pull the strip down. Once you've used the strip, obviously it's garbage, and then you would take the other strip and do the other side. What hairs otherwise would you want to use that on? Again, this would be the primary area, maybe here. Be careful on top, same thing. You know, for the most part, we're not wanting to tweeze out or remove the hairs on top. Usually we're looking for lift with our eyebrows. But, you know, if you've got, say you're someone who's got naturally darker hair, and you can really see a lot of those downy fine hairs up here, and they're not really part of your eyebrow, same thing, you can lay that wax strip down there and get rid of those. It's nice and quick and easy. And then the skin will be a little bit red for, I don't know, maybe a couple hours. So I typically will wax my eyebrows at bedtime so that I'm not dealing with kind of sensitive red skin during the day. A few other warnings too, if you use any kind of retinol creams that have retina A, like vitamin A in them, it can leave the skin quite thin. So if you use retinol creams, it's recommended, I would recommend that you stop using them for at least a few days, maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 days. Let that skin sort of toughen up a little bit before you go in and wax, because I've noticed because I use a retina cream on my eyes maybe, I don't know, twice a week, 3 times a week, I have an eye cream. And when I've gone in and just waxed, when I've used my retina creams up until that day, this gets quite red and puffy. It's noticeably more sensitive. So it's a good habit to kind of let that skin settle down a little bit. Okay, now we're going to talk about a little bit more specifics around actually shaping your eyebrow. So the kind of the gold standard of eyebrow geometry, if you will, is where does our eyebrow start? Where does our eyebrow end? A good guideline, and again, this is just a benchmark, doesn't need to be perfect, is from the outer corner of our nose through the inner corner of our eye. That's where the eyebrows should start. Again, everyone's features are a bit different. And then from the outer corner of the nose to the outer corner of the eye, that's approximately where the eyebrow should end. So again, if you've got hairs that are extending beyond that area, you might have either waxed them off or go in with your tweezers. And again, I've got that Tweezer Man brand and it's all rubbed off and worn off. I've had these forever. Get a good sharp pair of tweezers. I like the slant tip style of tweezer, and you want them nice and sharp because there's nothing more frustrating than tweezers that won't grab the hair or break the hair. You try to tweeze it. I find that with cheap tweezers. I'll grab a hair and then I pull them out, and half the time it just sort of snaps the hair. It doesn't actually grab it and pull it out properly. And then another little thing, just make sure those tweezers are clean so that they can really grab those fine hairs. So you would be tweezing out any hairs that are extending too far beyond here, any hairs in here that you didn't wax, that maybe the wax missed if you've got any little bit thicker, darker hairs in there. And then this is where you can also go in and shape your eyebrow. So tread carefully, especially if you're not in the habit of shaping your eyebrows. So many of us in the past, especially in our younger, more, I will say, foolish days, have over tweezed eyebrows. It is way better to have a bigger, bushier eyebrow than a really thin, spindly, over tweezed eyebrow. So tread carefully here, especially right now if you are kind of flying solo with your eyebrows and this is new territory for you. It's really easy to get carried away. It's easy to think, okay, oh, that looks good, that looks good. Oh, I'm gonna pull this, and all of a sudden you've got bald spots and your eyebrows are way thinner than what you were expecting. So I don't say this to scare you, but it's a warning. Just, go slowly. Take it one hair at a time here. Again, what would I do? I would grab that spoolie. I would just, again, shape that eyebrow. Take a look if there's any hairs underneath here that are really dipping down low and truly aren't part of your natural eyebrow. The other thing to really watch out for here is this arch area. Most of us want an arch. People's eyebrows are quite straight, and so that's a bit of a different discussion, but most of us are looking to build up a bit of an arch in our eyebrow. And a common mistake, so pay attention, that I see a lot of women making is they think, okay, well, I'm gonna sort of carve out this inner part of this eyebrow, and that's gonna help to create that arch. But it's not a great look. It's what I think of as a tadpole eyebrow or a comma-shaped eyebrow where it's sort of this ball on the end. It's almost like kind of hooked looking, and then the eyebrow sort of launches off from there. Not a great look, not flattering. Worst case scenario, it looks a bit dated, like maybe it was a style that was popular decades ago. Worst case scenario, it just looks bad. So how to avoid that? Make sure think more that you want this to be kind of straight here. So starting from the bottom corner of the eyebrow and working your way up to that arch, think of that being more of a straight line. Don't try to hollow this out too much in here. Okay, all right. I think that's all I can say around tweezing. What else can I say? It's easier to do it when your skin is warm. So when you've gotten out of the shower and those pores are open, or after you've washed your face with warm water, tweeze in the direction of the hair growth. So, again, your eyebrows are growing this way, so you would grab the hair and pull out in the direction that the hair is growing. Don't try to pull against the direction of the hair, or again, you're gonna snap it and you're gonna see these little dark sort of speckles where the eyebrow hairs got snapped off at the skin. Okay, so much to share there. Okay, what else can I tell you? The other thing with eyebrows would be tinting them. So a lot of us are in the habit of going and getting our eyebrows tinted, especially those of us that are also in the regular habit of going and getting our brows shaped. They kind of go hand in hand. At a lot of brow studios, they will wax and then tint your eyebrow for you. So if you're a brave soul, you can certainly try to get your hands on some at-home permanent tinting kits. I've never had any luck with that. I've tried a few times. I've never quite been able to find the right shades that I really liked, but I've had good success using temporary brow tint. It's essentially like a mascara for your eyebrows. So it just lasts for the day. It's quick, simple, easy, goof-proof. You really can't screw it up. And then at the end of the day, it just washes off. It's makeup. So you can use this as a brow tint replacement if that's part of your normal routine and you're really not in the habit of filling in your brow with color. Or it's a, you know, something like this is also something you can add over top of your regular brow pencils, brow shadows, whatever you like, to give that brow a little bit more of a polished look. But that's getting a little bit more into, you know, kind of beauty makeup, which really isn't the point of this tutorial. So we won't go too far in that direction right now, but I just wanted to show you how this works. So I've got here one that is a blonde shade, and I have on hand a brunette shade and a blonde shade, and I will put a link in the comments below so that if you don't have brow tint at home and you're looking to pick one up, I can ship that to you very simply or arrange a pickup if you are in the area. All right, so how do you use this? It's pretty straightforward. You just kind of comb it through. So I'm looking in my video camera here, so it's never quite as easy as doing it in a proper mirror, but you just comb it through and it just tints those hairs. It's dead simple. And then here's one little tip. I always like to run it backwards through the hair to make sure I'm coating both sides. If you get a little bit on your skin, so you can see there, it grabs some color, gives it a little more pop and definition. It's helpful to have a Q-tip handy. If you've made a bit of a mistake, you just get in there and clean that up. Otherwise, then I would just go back in with that spoolie, that brow tamer brush, and just give it a quick little comb and just shape it. And there you go. You've got, it's polished looking, but casual, right? Perfect for being around the house, or if you find yourself doing an online teleconference call or something like that, nice and simple. One last thing to show you, and then we'll wrap it up here. If you do want to do either the tint, or if you want something that's a little more polished and a little more filled in and defined, same thing again here, that brow comb the eyebrow. Now I'm going in with a brow brush, so it's just a stiff, coarse, angled brow brush, which I have those on hand too, and I can put a link to that in the comments below so that you can get yourself one if you don't have that. And then what am I doing here? So I'm grabbing my brow powder. So it's just a tinted, it's very similar to eyeshadow, but it's in a color that's gonna match your eyebrows. So I'm just gonna pick up a little bit of brow powder, and then same thing here, I'm just gonna softly go through the eyebrow, just to give it a little bit of shape, a little bit of definition, not doing anything too dramatic or crazy here, but you can see it does fill it in more than just the brow tint on its own. So you can do them solo, you can combine them, you can do it any way that you like. All right, final little comb, and there you go. That is your how to shape and tint your eyebrows at home. Take care, everyone.